Hi, this video let's discuss about the leadership. Leadership exists in any type of organization and it is the single factor that differentiates between a very successful organization and successful organization because it depends on the dynamic and effective leadership. So leadership is an integral part of management and that plays a vital role in managerial operations because leader is the one who makes its subordinate to willingly uh, do what he wants. The efforts of subordinates are to be channelized in the right direction. So as leaders, they are not only responsible for directing their subordinates, but also responsible for achieving the goals of an organization. So what is the meaning of leadership? According to Kuntz and Journal, leadership is the art of process of influencing people so that they will strive willingly towards the achievement of group goals. So it is a process of influencing the activities of an individual or a group in efforts towards goal achievement in any given situation. So leadership is a relationship between two or more people in which influence and power are evenly distributed. So a leader must have followers because they do not flourish in vacuum. So if the leader does not have followers, then it is very difficult for him to exercise his authorities. And essentially, it is a continuous process of influencing behavior. So we can otherwise call it a psychological process. And leadership is a function of the leader, the follower, and other situational variables. He guides his followers to achieve the goals, and leadership is exercised in a particular situation at a given point of time and under specific set of circumstances. So what are the importance of leadership? The leadership is an important factor for making any type of organization successful. So some of the important functions performed by the leader we can discuss here. So number one, motivating employees. So motivation is an important factor that all of us know. Higher the motivation, better would be the performance. So a good leader motivates the employees for very high performance. So you can say a good leadership is the organization itself as a motivating factor for the individual. The next in the line is the leader who develops teamwork. The three vital determinants of a teamwork are the leader, the subordinates, and the environment. So these factors are interdependent. So the leader should make an environment to work efficiently for the followers. The next one is the better utilization of the manpower. So a leader implements the plans, policies, and programs of an organization to utilize the available manpower effectively and gets the highest production with a minimum human cost. The next one is creating a confidence to the followers. A leader must create confidence in his followers by directing them, giving them the right advice, and getting through them for good results. The next one is directing group activities. So the personal contact and behavior of a leader can very much help people achieve organizational goals because he acts as a friend, philosopher, and guide to his follower and takes the lead in all activities. So a leader alone can consolidate the efforts and direct them towards the goal. Next one is building morale. So morale is expressed as an attitude of employees towards organization, management, and voluntary cooperation to offer their ability. Right? So high morale leads to high productivity and organizational stability. Then maintaining discipline. So discipline is the force, right, that prompts the individual to observe the rules, regulations, and procedures which are necessary for the attainment of objective. So a good leader makes less use of penalties for the violation of regulations and focuses more on self-discipline and voluntary restraints. So these are all some of the importance of a good leadership. Next one, the leadership qualities. So it is a common perception that leaders are born, not made. So this may be true to some extent because some people display some intrinsic traits right from their birth, which put them in a position where they are looked up as leaders. So a person's authoritativeness, a confidence in speech and action, and the ability to handle crisis without panic are considered some of the most effective leadership qualities. We can call them, there are charismatic leaders. People follow their leaders because of their charisma, the way they appear, very pleasing personality, or their behavior towards the followers, or even their oratorical power, how good they speak, how energetic they could inculcate energies in their followers, right? So the very first one, when we see the quality, is the honesty. So the sign of a good leader is the honesty towards his or her work and employees. So you should be very honest to your own self as well as for the others, so you never lose your integrity. The second one is confidence. So confidence should exude in every word that a leader tells, right? So have the confidence to manage people and show them the right path whenever they seek the leader's guidance. Next one is patience. So if you want to be a good leader, right, it is important that you be patient, be cool, calm, and collected. To become a good leader, you should also have, steadfast to the goal without wasting time in checking for the possibility of hindrances that might creep in. So you should be very focused, and people will respond more openly to a leader who is dedicated towards his or her work. So you should be jealous about your work and prove yourself as a source of inspiration for the people around you. Then consistency. Right, consistency is a very important leadership quality because it's maintaining your own way of approach and do not change it radically. So displaying inconsistency will confound others, right? So, and motivating others. So always encourage your juniors and congratulate them for all their achievement, whether it is small or big. This will create a very healthy environment in your workplace. Then very effective communication, because the leader should be able to reach the people around him or her very effectively. So good communication skills are very key to become a good leader. Then multiplicity of roles. So individuals are not only the productive factor in management's plans, they are the members of social system of many organizations. So they are consumers of goods and services, and and that is the case, they should primarily focus on demand. They are the members of the family, school, churches, trade, associations, and political parties. So they manage very multiple roles. You must have seen the different roles of managers, right, in any organization. So multiplicity of roles. Then individuality. Every individual is unique, and they have different needs and different ambitions, different attitudes, different desires of responsibility, different levels of knowledge and skills, and different potentials. So the manager should understand the complexity and individuality of the people. Then personal dignity. So managing implies achieving enterprise objectives. So achieving results are very important. At the same time, the means of achieving it should not violate the dignity of the people. So individual dignity means that people must be treated without considering their position in the organization. The next very important what we are going to see is the leadership style. So leadership style is the behavior exhibited by the leader during supervision of the following. So majorly we have three broad category here. We call them autocratic leader, participative leader, and free rein. Let's go going through it one by one. And here we are discussing here about the leadership styles. So in the leadership styles, we have four types of leadership style. One side is the people emphasis, the other side is the task emphasis. So this is the lower task emphasis and high task emphasis, and this is low people emphasis and very high people emphasis. So we have leadership style I have given here on the four quadrants. One is autocratic leader, then democratic leader, laissez-faire, and transformational. One by one, let's go. The very first one is the autocratic or the dictatorial leadership. So in this type of leadership, the leader takes all decisions by him without considering the subordinates. So here if you see it is highly task oriented, and there is very less people emphasis, right? So what happens, it is a very strict autocrat and a benevolent autocrat and very incompetent autocrat. We can classify them under these two, I mean under these three types of leadership. So what would be the advantages? Being autocratic, you can make a very quick decision and you can have a very strong motivation and satisfaction. Since it is highly task oriented, you can be very highly productive, and even less competent subordinates, sometimes they need to work at lower levels, and it can yield very positive outcome. But what would be the limitations? Employees morale will be low because it is more of autocratic and very very strong in what the leaders want to do. But so absence of leadership will affect the output heavily. So as long as the leader continue to be with them and always push them forward, there will, since the morale is always affected, and dissatisfaction is usually a major criteria here, and people won't stay in this kind of leadership, and there will be more turnover, and full potential of subordinates and the creative ideas are normally not utilized because it is always one decision. So one way communication without feedback. The second one is the democratic leadership or a participative leadership. So in this type of leadership, you not only have a high task emphasis but also very high people involvement. So the subordinates are consultant and their feedback is taken into decision making process, and the decisions are taken after a group discussion. So the authority is completely decentralized. Here it is a centralized authority, but here in democratic it is a decentralized authority, and participative leader attaches high importance to both work as well as people. So freedom of thinking and expression are excellent in democratic leadership. So what would be the advantages? The subordinates are motivated by the participation in decision making, and absence of leader also will not affect the output, and the turnover will be very less, and the quality of decision is always improved. So what would be the limitations? It is very time consuming, and since decision is involved in all people, that you cannot arrive at the decision very quickly, and the subordinates, sometimes if they are very lazy and avoid work, controlling them will become very difficult, and it cannot be successfully applied at a lower level of management and in production activity. And sometimes leaders are more uncomfortable in this approach, and there could be reduction of power or control over the labor, and it may yield positive results when subordinates prefer minimum interaction, right? And the third one is the laissez-faire. So laissez-faire, here in this type, you have a very less task emphasis and very very less people emphasis. So complete freedom is given to subordinates, that they plan, motivate, control, otherwise irresponsible for their own actions. So that is called laissez-faire. Here the leader is interested in delegating decision making fully to the subordinates. So advantages: positive effect on job satisfaction and morale of subordinates, but it creates an environment of freedom, individuality, and utilization of full potential of subordinates. But limitations as such, if you see, there is a lack of discipline and lowest productivity and no control or coordination among the employees, and some members may put their own interest above the group and team interest. The last one we have is transformational. Transformational is one of the most positive way because it is the leader himself converting himself to a person who shows the way. You not only make the path, but also you show the path, you walk on the way, and you show how the things has to be done. So it is a theory of leadership where a leader works with the team and identify the needed change. You create a vision and you guide the change through an inspiration, and you execute the change in tandem with committed members of the group. So transformational is where the leader himself is involved and converting the entire team to walk along with him. So these are all the different leadership style that every organization follows. Thank you.